Hello, everybody. My name is Bourbonniere. I'm a soloist with the Pittsburgh Ballet Theater, and today I'm here to talk to you about my experience as the role of Drosselmeyer in PBT's The Nutcracker. Drosselmeyer is a really fun role. You get to be the sort of magician making the whole show happen. And there's a lot of magic tricks that go into that. And it starts off right at the beginning of the show. So I do upwards of 30 tricks throughout the entire performance. And it's a really fun experience. It's really tricky because I'm a dancer, so I'm not used to working with props, working with my hands so much outside of partnering. You really have to learn how to do some of these magic tricks with a lot of finesse that being a dancer, we don't usually work so much with our hands and with props. So it's definitely a learning experience. The first time I did the role would have been my second season in the company, so probably the year 2013. And it was a really, really terrifying experience, to be honest, just because the whole show sort of rides on your shoulders. So you're telling the story of this nephew who's been afflicted with this curse by the Rat King. And you introduce him to Marie, who is the star of the show, who you know has a really warm heart and who could really help him on this journey to healing that affliction. So you're really sort of guiding the whole story along and putting the pieces together so that they meet, so that they fall in love, and so that she really saves him, and they get to go to the land of enchantment and have this beautiful celebration with the Sugar Plum Fairy and all of these different people from all over the world. But anyway, the show really rides on your shoulders. So the first time I did it, I was pretty scared. I got to do it for a student matinee. So there are all these young students that come to see our performance, and it can be the scariest show sometimes because I feel that kids are very honest in their opinion. If they like something, they'll clap, they'll laugh. And if they don't, it's just quiet, and it feels like, okay, I didn't hit that one. But anyway, I remember having, like I said, a really scary experience. And then as I got to do it more and got to experience more time being on stage with the props, I got more comfortable and I was able to focus on the storytelling a bit more. I think when I first did it, it was all about the tricks and didn't want to mess anything up. And as I grew up and matured into the role, I realized things go wrong sometimes. It's live theater. You're never going to have a perfect performance. And you're dealing with a lot of tricks that some of them you may set up, some of them others may set up for you, other people either in the cast or in the crew. And you have to confer with those people before the show, during the show, just to make sure all of your tricks are set up properly and everything's going to go off without a hitch. Of course, that doesn't always happen, so you have to sort of learn how to finagle things as you go, which again, like the more experience you have doing it, the easier it is to cover up some of those hiccups as they come. And it's really great because in some versions, Drosselmeyer can be really scary, he can be really kind of menacing almost, and in this version, in Terrence S. Orr's version, he's very suave and he's very loving and very charming. And so it was really fun to be able to play a role that's a bit more mature, and also to play this role that is really, again, like guiding the entire show. With each magic trick, I'm telling another component of the story, putting the pieces together. And I'm always sort of, there's like magic within the magic that's happening because I'm doing all of these showy tricks, bringing dolls to life, turning cloths into canes and whatnot. But the whole point of me being at this Christmas party is to heal my nephew. So oftentimes you'll see Drosselmeyer in the back of the scenes, making sure everybody's meeting at the right place, at the right time, making sure Marie's seeing the Nutcracker when she's supposed to. And there's a lot of storytelling that you can do without just being right in the front doing the magic tricks. Oftentimes I'm sort of lurking in a way, but making sure that everything's going off without a hitch. So while I'm not Drosselmeyer in this production, I've played the role many times over my 9-year tenure in the company here. I started out in my second season and have been playing it up until last year, which was the last time we got to perform Nutcracker on a stage. I'm definitely missing it this year, but hopefully we'll be back to you next year. So Drosselmeyer is one of my favorite roles to perform in the Nutcracker because there are so many things that you get to, so many magic tricks that you get to bring to life. And one of the hardest parts about portraying Drosselmeyer is that you have to start getting ready about an hour and a half before the show. So, 2 hours before any performance, we start a warm-up class. That's usually about an hour and 15 minutes, and then we have 45 minutes before the show starts to really put the finishing touches on hair and makeup and set ourselves up for the show. When I perform as Drosselmeyer, I usually have to cut my warm-up class a bit short so that I can go and put on some older makeup to make myself look a bit aged and like I could be somebody's uncle. With gray in my hair and lines on my face, I usually do a mustache. And then, so that usually takes me about 30 to 45 minutes just to do all of that. And then I have to go and set up all of my tricks. At the beginning of the show, there's usually a scene, when we perform it on stage, there's a scene that takes place in front of this scrim, which is just like a painted drop that we perform in front of, and it's the Stahlbaum house. And so we come on stage, and I have many different tricks already set up in my jacket. I have many tricks that are either in the cart that we bring on stage or waiting off stage for me to bring on stage. So there's also a lot of tricks in the party scene that have to be set up before the show begins. I usually have to talk to some of the crew and a couple of the characters just to make sure that certain things are in the right place. There's a cloth that I usually fold up with the butler that he ends up putting on the table at some point, which in the actual performance is used to show that the Nutcracker is growing. So I put the Nutcracker on the table as a doll, I bring the cloth over the table, and that's a really important piece to be set up correctly, because otherwise it could really ruin the magic. And then obviously the doll grows into the live human Nutcracker, who is later revealed to be my nephew. So there's a lot that could go wrong, but it just takes a lot of preparation, a lot of communication with the other people that are helping you put these magic tricks on, and a lot of patience. And just as things happen, again, some things might go wrong, and you just over time learn how to either hide some of those moments or just move on quickly so that hopefully not too many people noticed. There is usually a lot going on in the party scene, so hopefully your eyes are elsewhere when we don't execute the tricks as well as we should or could. But like I said, over time we definitely are able to perfect some of those tricks. But that, again, so going back to the preparation, that time usually helps me sort of get into the role of this older, suave gentleman who is putting on this show. So I have a really cool vest that I get to wear underneath my heavy jacket that has all of these pockets that I have all of my tricks in. And it just sort of helps me feel rather suave and debonair. I start off the show with a rose on my jacket that turns into a scarf for this young girl. And yeah, I really love being able to take that time to sort of just get into the mindset of having a lot to do at this party and having to make sure everything goes right. It almost feels like the character of Drosselmeyer is sort of emulating what I'm going through as a dancer in that moment, because he has so much to do in that one night, and so much is riding on this night to sort of heal his nephew of this curse. So much is riding on me telling this story and bringing it to life and making sure that everything goes according to plan. So I definitely feel like part of the preparation definitely is helping me get into that mindset already. Yeah, and it's been a treat to play this role over the years. And as I said, I've really been able to grow into it and find more subtle moments that really allow me to really become a part of the story, so that I'm not just Corey playing the role of Drosselmeyer, but I actually become Drosselmeyer and interacting with all of these people on stage, whether it's the grandmother or the general or Marie, is really authentic. And that's certainly a credit to a lot of the company members here who really commit to those roles, and to Terrence Orr, who did a great job of letting us all know that every small character is important, and every character has a moment on stage that they can shine, and I really enjoy being able to interact with those characters and allowing their magic to come through. We really hope you're able to tune in and watch the Nutcracker, and we can't wait until we're able to be back on stage, but we hope we're able to bring you a little holiday magic in the meantime. Thank you and happy holidays.